We are at the Modern Homestead, and we're going to show you a bunch of features in here. And one of them, John, could you explain one of the awesome features that come along with this property?
So this is a full 40-foot Connex with commercial shelving and a fridge inside. Obviously there's a little bit more to clear out, but that all is staying behind the shelving in the fridge. We added in 2 solar fans, 2 vent caps to help keep it cool in here, and then put on a special roof coating up on top to help with the heat. So this Connex, for the most part, stays about this cool. So a pretty nice little work spot. We got a really nice floor that we put in, commercial floor. It does have a little scuff marks from wear and tear, but generally speaking, just to help really protect the flooring of this thing. So
you have amended with a lot of the wood chips into the property. Can you tell us kind of the process to rejuvenate the land?
Yeah, so we've been here for just over 5 years, and I've owned a tree service the whole time. So what we've been doing is bringing in a lot of the wood chips, a lot of leafy material, things like that. I would say probably roughly about 500,000 pounds a year for the last 5 years. So we've done, I would say, somewhere around 15 or so acres has had wood chips spread on it to help with erosion control. A lot of these hillsides, when we first moved in, it was overgrazed land, and so we've had a lot of issues with erosion. So just trying to fill it back in, give it a chance for the grass to fill back in, and level it off because it was unmowable, a lot of this area going up the terraces. But we've gone probably about 400 or 500 feet up the hill at this point. So this whole back corner and then around the house going out to the side has been amended with wood chips. The wood chips are going to stay for whoever needs or wants them for continuing garden maintenance, is kind of why this pile was here for the wife, and so that's good to use for that.
We are at the one of the greenhouse, irrigated greenhouse. John, you and your wife have put together a really great little part of it. Could you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, so behind me we have a 32-foot Planta greenhouse. This was the toughest addition I could get for snow load and for wind load that Planta sells, and they're a very solid, reputable company that I've seen a couple of them in the region, and everybody loves them. We did some misters, put a spigot in the corner so there's access to the water inside the greenhouse, so you don't have to worry about running a bunch of hose or anything like that. We've amended the growing areas with natural made soil from the mulch that we have, and also about 50,000 pounds of manure. So that's what's in these garden beds, raised garden beds, over here to the side, and then all the dirt that's on the inside and everything onto the left side as well. We're not really utilizing this side this year, but we have raspberries, we got potatoes, melons, squash, various herbs, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers. The list kind of goes on in there. So that'll all get passed off to the next person, whatever doesn't get harvested, because a lot of it won't be ready for probably another month or 2.
One of the reasons you want to buy this modern day homestead, John, explain this wonderful part of your property.
So what we have here is our chicken coop. For the chickens, we have shutting doors so you can lock them in at night if you so desire. We've been here long enough to realize that once they go inside, we don't really have any problems with wild animals. So we ended up adding on a 6-foot exterior for a run so that they have an area to go into, with a pig pen and a turkey roost. If you want to have turkeys, turkeys love high things to climb up on, and they will sleep out here in the middle of a blizzard. They don't care. And the pig pen, they just kind of need something to get out of the wind at night. And so we would throw a couple bales of straw in there. This back area has actually got a bunch of fruit trees in it. I think we are 6 that survived, 6 or 7 of them. Obviously, it's Colorado, it's kind of tough to keep them growing. But we've amended this soil as well with manure and wood chips, and then tilled it in. Planted a lot of cover crop like alfalfa. There's a lot of alfalfa, the purple stuff in there that's dark green, and so to help fix the nitrogen in the soil. But this is very very fertile for an outdoor grow of whatever you would want to have, whether that be goats or sheep or anything else inside this enclosure. We do have 2 built-in heaters in each of the chicken coops, kind of a little windscreen here. In the winter time it's cold and you come out in the storm, so it's kind of nice to have a spot where it's tucked away and you can get access to their food and feed them and pull their eggs and stuff. And then we do have a water spigot sitting right here off to the side. So even in the winter, it's nice because you don't have to bucket and run hoses and worry about that. You just come out, give them fresh water daily or every other day, whatever works for you.
How many chickens could you put into there?
We haven't had that many, but I would imagine you could probably do, 40, 50 chickens.
Wow.
Pretty easily between the 2 coops. You might even be able to do more. It kind of depends on the time of year. The winter, they need a place to get out of the cold. In the spring and summer, if you're doing meat birds, you could probably do quite a few more in here, especially with the open area in the run. And so we just leave the doors open because they can't get out. And this is, as I recall, I think it's a 50-foot by almost 100-foot chicken run.
So free range, so to speak, yeah.
Yeah, well, free range as close as you can get it. That's also why we don't mow in here, so we can attract as many bugs and insects into this area. So they will just come out and they just kind of go through this area and do their thing and eat it. So we get really good eggs, really nice orange yolks out of it. So obviously in the winter, feed costs go up because they stop eating this, and we have to feed them directly out of that. So, but the chickens must be staying behind, and I think right now they're producing 4 to 6 eggs a day. If you get more birds, you can have more eggs.
John owned a tree company and so has planted a ton of trees. So, John, would you explain the future of the trees that you've put down?
Yeah, we've tried, I think at this point, about 10 different plus species worth of trees out here. Everything that we thought would grow well in the region. I did not do any pine trees on this property because I was consistently bringing beetle infested wood onto the property, and so that would have ended up killing them. So we were trying to find something that would be compatible out here with running a tree service while we were here. And what we have found that's done really well are locust trees. They're extremely drought tolerant, very hardy. They're a moderate grower, so they can grow about 3 to 5 feet a year once they get established. And they're a little beat up this year because of the hailstorms we've had, but they will come back and they'll fill back in, and it's something that whoever takes over this property is going to deal with the weather. Nothing we can do about that. Once they're integrated, which should be next year, these trees are, for the most part, a hands-off situation, so they're not on a drip system. They really won't need to be watered, and we didn't want to have a bunch of things on the property that would require excessive water and time and energy to do that. So they're supposed to be more of a plug-and-play situation. But yeah, that's the trees going down the side, and then off to the side we have a bunch of elm trees, and kind of scattered abroad we have cottonwoods. Cottonwoods have done really well out here where water pools and there's excessive water. And so
approximately a couple hundred trees you've planted over here?
I think total all in we planted 300 trees, and I would say we probably are somewhere around 125 that have survived the last 5 years. Again, scattered across the property.
That's great.
So
this homestead has an area for?
So this area we built up was for ducks and geese. We had ducks and geese in here for almost 2 years through the winter. You do have to bring them water in the winter.
Run
obviously.
A hose?
Not a hose, no. Just actually bring them like a bucket of water for drinking.
Oh, I see.
Once a day. But in the springtime, this is kind of how it looks. They do eat the vegetation in here down, so it really grew back because we had to get rid of them, getting ready to sell this last year. And but the water does stay in the pond, and as long as you have ducks and geese in here, because they really need the water to survive, they keep it pretty clean because of their paddling action, so they kind of naturally aerate it And but that's what this whole enclosure was for, was somewhere to keep them safe, away from the foxes and other things, coyotes that might come out and try to get them at night. We didn't ever have to clip their wings. As long as they had water and food, they never tried to fly. So domesticated birds, they just stayed in their little area, but you could clip their wings, you know, if you felt so inclined to do so.
40 acres. And this land has been amended a bit. John, just tell us a little bit about the view and about your acreage.
Yeah, so again, it's a 40-acre piece of property. This is just off the back of our house, off the garage. You do have a pretty nice view of Pikes Peak, and I'm sure in some of the other photos you're going to post, you'll get to see the views from up on top of the hill. You can really see on a clear day from the Sangre de Cristos down past Pueblo, all the way back up to about Monument area, and everything in between all the way down to the Front Range. So beautiful nights. We just had the 4th of July. You get to watch every single fireworks show in the region from up on the hill up here. But yeah, we've mostly just tried to keep animals off and then just naturally regenerate the property as best we could in the time we've had, you know, using natural materials like mulch and manure. Overseeding every year. So I think I probably put about $1,500, $2,000 worth of seed on the property at this point. Just trying to help it to come back to life.
Yeah,
it was
it's looking great.
Extremely overgrazed when we bought it, and so it should be set up pretty nice. You know, for anybody that wants to have animals on the property for pasture, or even possibly for hay production. Some of these fields, like one up here we just mowed yesterday, are really nice areas that produce, you know, would produce pretty good hay at this point. So, and then you can't really see it up on the hill, but there is a 200-yard gun range that we built that's dug into the hillside and reinforced, so it's a good backstop. We have a bunch of iron plates set up for it, and some T-posts that mark out 50, 100, 150, and 200 yards. Just as a point of reference, so you know where you're shooting at and what, you know, depending on what you're trying to shoot and do.